Okay, while the document is downloading on some of your computers, I will talk about a little thing here about image modes. The pictures you see in this document, they are all in RGB mode. It means that the colors are created by mixing three kinds of lights, red, green, and blue, hence the name RGB. You will encounter some people who will tell you that document whose purpose is print, pictures must be in CMYK. It means 4 channels, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That was true about 15 years ago, but that's not true anymore. Adobe tell its users that they must make their page layouts with RGB pictures. And that's what I've been on here in this document. There's no CMYK pictures, only RGB pictures. But the printer guy needs CMYK pictures. So, how does it work? The page layout is done with RGB pictures. I will open one of them here in Photoshop. First, I will go to the Layers panel and check, okay, I will go to the Layers panel, Window, Layers, and unlock the image layer. Then I will be able to click with the black arrow on any of those pictures. Right-click and ask for Edit Original. And if it's a PSD file, it will open in Photoshop. It's a PSD file. If it's a JPEG file, it can open in Photoshop, but sometimes not right away. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. You have to ask for Edit With and not Edit Original in the menu. Okay, we are in Photoshop. Okay. So, in Photoshop, this is it. And what do we see here on the title bar? RGB. The height tells about the number of shades in each channel. It is not relevant here. We don't have to care about it right now. In image mode, you also have the information that it is an RGB picture. Okay, so it is an RGB picture. I will close it here in Photoshop. Okay, in InDesign is able to tell me that it is an RGB picture too. In the window window info. Yes, when I click on a picture with the black arrow tool, it tells me that it is RGB. So if you're working with a printer who use offset printing as a technique, you will have to make the color separation. It means transforming the RGB pictures into CMYK pictures. How do you achieve that? Just by going to the file, export. And nowadays, printers, they want PDF files, so I will export in PDF for print. Okay. And here, in the output, you will have to choose from one of these standards. The printer guy will tell you which one. And here, you will have to ask for the color conversion from RGB to CMYK. Output, color conversion, convert to destination. Which destination? The printer guy will tell you, according to the type of paper you have chosen to print on. He will tell you have to choose this norm, or this one, or if you are in the US or North America, you will have some other choices. And in Japan too, you will have other choices. But here in Europe, these are the printing norms, offset printing norms. Okay. So that's the explanation. I will not go through all the process because it's only a short course about InDesign. But that answers the question: why do we use RGB pictures even if it's for print? Adobe tells its users to use RGB pictures in page layout in InDesign, even if it's for print, because at the end you export and convert to CMYK. While making the PDF for the printer guy. Okay? So, why use RGB pictures instead of CMYK pictures in InDesign? Firstly, because it is smaller files, but that's not really important nowadays. The hard drives are really huge. You can put a lot of information on the hard drives. But anyway, RGB pictures are a little bit smaller than CMYK pictures, only 3 channels instead of 4. But the most important part is the fact that you are able on RGB pictures to use any Photoshop filter, and that's not the case with CMYK pictures. With CMYK pictures, only a few of the Photoshop filters will work, and on RGB pictures, they will all work. Also, you are able to put in RGB pictures some vibrant colors, like this one. You can clearly see that it is an RGB picture. It is bright. So if your topic needs vibrant colors, really saturated colors, you will be able to put them in your page layout document. So what's the point if they become duller on the paper? The point is, nowadays, when you're making an InDesign document, it is usable for an exportation to a tablet or smartphone. So the paper is not anymore the only output available. So use bright colors if you wish to on the tablet, on the smartphone, on the computer screen. They will appear bright. And for the printer, you make a CMYK PDF, just as I explained a little bit earlier. And in the PDF, the colors will be dull, less saturated, of course, just as on the paper, but it's not a problem. Okay? So that's the explanation why nowadays we use RGB pictures. And you are able in InDesign to simulate the CMYK output. Okay. Try to go into the edit menu, into transparency blend space, and instead of document RGB, choose document CMYK. And then you see how it will look onto paper. Of course, the pictures of the horses there, they do not change because they contain only printable colors, not saturated colors, but our field here was really saturated, and you see the difference. Maybe there are other colors on other pages. It will look now a little bit duller, less saturated. I don't know. Edit transparency blend mode, blend space. No. A lot of the pictures we used are printable as is, and they don't change a lot if you change the output simulation of InDesign here. Go back into transparency blend space RGB. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's okay. You have enough information about it right now.